Over the next couple of months, Destiny 2 is going to have two of its most significant updates since launch. We've got a big sandbox update, and then of course we have the second DLC for Destiny 2, and it's no secret that there are a lot of players who want to see significant changes brought to this game in order to continue playing it, or indeed return to the game. So in this video, I wanted to break down 5 things which I think are going to be very important going into this May expansion. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section what you need to see in order to continue playing or return to Destiny 2. This is an important conversation because, as a lot of players keep saying, it feels like this is going to be a make or break moment for the future of this game. So let's talk about it a little bit. It's worth breaking down what Bungie have actually told us about Season 3 launching alongside the DLC in May. So we will be getting Eater of Worlds Prestige, seasonal Crucible rankings, private matches, a vault space increase, multi-emotes, exotic masterworks, seasonal vendor progression, faction rally improvements, as well as exotic weapon and armor sandbox changes, and then heroic strike modifiers. Of course, we don't have all of the details about these particular changes, but I wanted to list a few things that I think are going to be very, very important. So let's start out with gear improvements. Now, this actually encompasses quite a lot of stuff. We have to bear in mind Mods 2.0, the big mod update, has been pushed out and will actually come after May. On top of this, it's safe to assume we aren't going to suddenly see the return of random rolls or armor perks. So in the meantime, I think there are a couple of things that Bungie should focus on. And of course, awesome new weapons, exotics, gear, all of that stuff goes without saying. Firstly, more exciting weapon rolls. We see a lot of weapons in Destiny 2 right now which just fail to grab the interest of players. They don't do exciting enough things in the sandbox. There are too many reskinned weapons in the game. If they're not going to be randomized, if we're not going to have mods that make them significantly more interesting, then I think one thing which should be happening anyway is an infusion of new perks into the game. There are even perks from Destiny 1 which I think a lot of players would be interested to see again. You've got bonuses like Battle Runner, Hot Swap, Icarus, Mulligan, Hidden Hand, Feeding Frenzy, Cascade, Army of One. There are a lot of things that could be reintroduced into the game, and I think there are also a lot of new ideas that could be brought into the game in terms of weapon perks. This won't solve all of the issues with the game, but of course more bonuses is good. It has the potential to make more interesting and more varied weapon rolls while they are static. There are options like the reforging or re-rolling of weapons on vendors and things like that. And there are other interim things that could be done, you know, opening up a second armor mod slot on a masterwork piece of armor. I am 100% with you guys, you know, about the situation as far as weapon rolls, random rolls. I totally agree those things need to be fixed properly, but it looks like it's going to take quite some time, so I think that things need to be done in the meantime. Up next though, I think we need to see some kind of PvE, horde, or arena mode. So we've seen things like Prison of Elders in the past. We also had Archon's Forge and the Court of Oryx. I think this time around it definitely needs to be more of a horde or arena mode. We need to have a really solid loot pool with lots of stuff that you can actually collect, a progression system which is actually meaningful, some kind of ranking system which lead towards rewards. You know, you could unlock things like exotics. You could also have a weekly rotation on any weapons that came from this activity, and you could actually allow them to be re-rolled in a way where everyone could get those weapons if they invested some amount inside of that given week. You basically need to think Prison of Elders, but with a lot more features, a lot more progression, and less repetition. I think the PvE side of the game desperately needs some quality content to invest into. Number 3 though, secret quests. We've seen it before. Hidden triggers, secret missions, time-gated quests, all of which can offer awesome rewards, the kind of things that we used to get back in D1, Sleeper Simulant, Black Spindle, Outbreak Prime. These are things that have completely eluded us thus far in Destiny 2, outside of some immediately obvious and relatively basic exotic quests. The other cool thing with missions and secrets is that you can flesh out the story element. Also, Bungie, please, some good exotic swords would not go amiss right now. Number 4 though, I think we need to see vendor improvements across the board. I'm talking about NPCs, vendors, Xur. We need to see some kind of reputation or ranking system for these vendors. Progression-based unlocks would be awesome. I personally think there should be god-rolled weapons and exotics available to chase through progression from vendors, even things like the exotic class items for the factions that we had in Destiny 1. And when I list list all of these things, I don't just mean, rewards that don't have any meaning, that feel kind of like most rewards do right now. I mean stuff that people are going to want to have. In terms of the loot system in general, I think that is the most basic way to describe Destiny's biggest problem right now. There needs to be stuff that people want to have and are willing to invest in the game in order to get. And the fifth point that I would put forward in this particular way would be event improvements. So we have monthly Iron Banners and faction rallies. And since the launch of the game, the way that these events work and the rewards behind them have started to feel more and more lackluster. There are a lot of people who aren't jumping into the faction rally to pick weapons up. So same with Iron Banner, there are a lot of people who just decide, I can't be bothered with those ornaments because they don't influence the game enough for me. And equally with weapons and stuff, it's clear that these events and their rewards are not drumming up the kind of player interest that weapons and gear and systems events used to in Destiny 1. So once again, the improved weapons and gear plus ranks, progressions, all of that stuff carries over from my previous points, but I think we need to see banner and rally exotics, Iron Banner exotic weapons and class items with bonus stats and perks that you can earn through ranking up. On top of this, faction exotic class items would be really cool, again with stats and perks that are exclusive to those items, and then even exotic ships and items like that, some of the cosmetic stuff that we see inside of Eververse, while it's not what the game should entirely be about, those things should be desirable and earned through actual gameplay. So what I've listed there, on top of the stuff that Bungie are already talking about in May, I think are pretty important things. It does really go without saying that we should get quality content, we should get quality of life fixes, we should get weapons, gear, and all of that kind of stuff, which people are excited by. I think other smaller quality of life fixes, things like the introduction of heavy synths, those Eververse improvements they promised us, matchmaking, solo PvP issues, an actual patrol zone on the new space would be pretty awesome as well. As I've said before, guys, in terms of an all-in-one fix, it's become very apparent that that is not going to happen, so we always have to temper our expectations, I think, at this point. But I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think down below. Which things stand out to you the most when we talk about the next content update? What kind of stuff do you feel needs to be there in order for you to play the game again, or to actually get you excited about playing Destiny? Be sure to let me know in the comment section, guys, but as I mentioned, these are just a few thoughts of mine. If you have enjoyed the video, a like is appreciated below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see more Destiny 2 content. For now though, I hope you guys have an awesome day.